Everybody, welcome back. We're at the Laughing Dragon MXP San Francisco. We're playing Modern all along. These players are playing for their share of $20,000, and then we've got 8 RC invites up for grabs as well. So everyone in top 8's this event is going to be playing in that RC later this year in Washington, D.C. I'm Tanner Grace. I'm joined by Noah Walker. And we're going to be bringing you round 3 here. And, oh, man, I'm going to love this matchup. We've got Roll on the right side here playing Merfolk against Ivan Espinoza playing the deck that he's pretty much known for in 4-color Omnath. I don't know how much you've kept up with this guy the last couple of years, Noah, but this is one of the true grinders right now. He goes to practically everything. He's won a bunch of like NRG events and stuff like that. Ivan, hell of a player, and this deck's his baby.
Ivan's a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really show up to a tournament, too many tournaments these days, especially not a modern tournament these days, and not see Ivan there. So no surprise to see him here playing.
In person, I do a lot of coverage for the regional championships, the Pro Tours and stuff like that. I'm trying to think of the last event I went to and I didn't see Ivan, and I can't think of it.
Yeah.
Oh, here. Yes, thank you. All right. Good luck, man.
Players exchanging some pleasantries there before the match. You'd love to see the sportsmanship. Do you have anything to say about this matchup, Ivan? Noah, between Ivan and Raul? On Ivan's side, are you a little worried about playing against something like Merfolk?
Honestly, I think so. Like, luckily, looking at his list right now, like, you've got the 2 Supreme Verdicts, which is going to be huge in this matchup. Just like some generally solid cards. Like, Solitude's really nice in the matchup. Omnath, another good one. Other than that, like Leyline Binding, obviously another good one. The deck doesn't interact too profitably with the Merfolk deck. But what I think this will come down to more than anything is how fast Raul can get going. Just like, any aggro deck versus like mid-range control deck, it like is, I would say, almost entirely up to the aggro deck and what they're able to the sort of pressure they're able to produce for the first couple turns of the game. And I feel like that will really set the tone of the game.
All right, a little mana-based development here for both players. Beautiful Island on one side, a bunch of different multicolor lands on Ivan's side, but the big thing is that turn 1 Aether Vial. Oh boy.
Yep. Sacrifice dock hand.
No, this is on the stack.
I was going to say, this is...
Sorry.
Yeah, so when you cast this, it's on the stack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, so let's take it back. Sorry.
So, the dock hand's in the way. But this is...
Oh, because it's pre...
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all. Yeah. This is tapped.
Will the players talk this one out? It looks like he's going to go ahead and take away the dock hand here, which is going to help keep that mana base up and flowing for Ivan here. Doesn't want to get locked down too much from his mana. Back over to the Merfolk player. He's going to draw for turn here. Play Cavern of Souls. I have to believe he's naming Merfolk, Noah.
It could be anything.
Slivers.
Yeah, you never know.
Yep, he's going to attack over for a little bit of extra damage here since the Mutavault itself is a Merfolk.
Get in for 4.
Ivan has another ley line here.
I guess this one's probably just going to hit the Aether Vial, and then he has another Leyline Binding, I think, as well.
Merfolk Trickster is going to come into play in response. Plane's been into play for Ivan here. Another ley line, it looks like. So the third one's going to go ahead and these are all just taking care of the creatures.
I like it. Raul doesn't have very many cards in hand. So I think Ivan's just thinking, I just need to survive, have time to cast like my powerful cards in this matchup, and then I'll be able to run away with the game.
Absolutely, just really worrying about that life total. Now this Mutavault's hitting for a lot less. It's only hit for 2 here. There's no other creatures in play. Aether Vial up to 3 here, but Ivan's kind of weathered the early storm here. Is that important to do in this kind of matchup?
Yeah, it's totally. Like, you just need to get through the first couple turns of the game. Like, as I was saying a little bit earlier, these sort of matchups, you know, like the mid-range decks against like the more aggressively slanted decks, it's really on the onus for the whoever's playing the more aggressive deck to get onto the board early, build some sort of, you know, get some creatures going, maybe. Especially for Rawls' decks, have this Aether Vial going. Like, I think that's the most important thing, which he did have, but he wasn't really able to follow it up with too many impactful creatures. Ooh, this is so hot, actually. Because normally you can't. Like, normally this is a play that just can't happen. You can't just run this Tidebinder or Teferi, because Teferi being in play means that the Tidebinder doesn't do anything, but, you know, that was super important for Rawl.
Yeah, Aether Vial being on 3 there was huge. It allowed him to use use that to take care of that ability, and now, as long as it's in play, the other Planeswalker can't be used, and he's going to go ahead and go upstairs with his 3 as well. Now, he did play a 4th land, didn't attack with the Mutavault, and put the Aether Vial up to 4.
What is this?
What does this mean?
I mean, it looks like face up subtly, right? But I don't get it, because you could just use the... Like, I don't understand why the Mutavault wouldn't get in there, basically.
There are 2 cards in Rawls' hand, so maybe he's got subtlety plus something that he wants to play here. Maybe playing around a sweeper a tiny bit.
Is there any other 4s in his deck, though? No, right?
I don't have his deck list up.
Just the subtleties. I'm looking at it right now. It looks like, yeah, all the other creatures cost 1 and 2. I mean, and then Spellion, you know, being a 3-drop. But there's only 3 4-cost cards in his deck, and they're all subtlety.
Alright, well, here comes the subtlety, it seems. But there's a Teferi in play. Yeah, you have to use the Aether Vial here. Yeah, there you go. I gives him the thumbs up. He's like, there we go. All right, we got it right. We've all been there. You're like, I know I could play this card. Like, but yeah, I'm right there with you. Like, why didn't this Mutavault maybe attack last turn or whatever? So, looks like Mutavault and Subtlety are going to cover us. I'm assuming it looks like they're both going for Ivan here. Going to go ahead and keep ignoring this Teferi because the Mutavault's in the... Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon. It does look like the Teferi got attacked by the Mutavault there. So only 3 damage to Ivan here this turn. Ivan down to 8. Plateau's getting a little scary. I think that's the 1 ring. Yes, that is the 1 ring. Okay. Oh, man. Anu, you're killing me today. You're getting all the people with the drippiest decks.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise here. Ivan just with some incredible drip, but
yeah.
It's a little bit hard to see.
Yeah, if you know Ivan, he's always got like the craziest, coolest version of the deck that he could possibly have.
Totally.
Yeah, he is he likes to be, you know, blinged out and dripped out. He likes his decks to look awesome, and I can't blame him. Big fan of that stuff myself. That is one cool thing about Magic lately. You know, I'm not really complaining about like they do the different pictures and stuff. It's like whatever, but you get to like customize your deck. You know, what I mean, it's almost like self-expression through like what versions of the cards you have and your lands and things like that. Because like back in the day, that used to be the only choice we had is like what basic land did you play. Other than that, all your cards look the same. Now there's, you know, 7 different versions of these cards, and you can pick which one you like, and that's really, really cool. Yeah, another subtlety here for all that's going to take care of against Teferi.
Yeah, I feel as though this one was a little telegraphed. I mean, it's hard to say. Like, I don't like maybe he was like that was what the turn 4 was, right? Like, oh, I have 2 subtleties exactly, and I want to be able to have both of them up. I don't need to deal 2 damage. So
that's going to go ahead and go to the bottom for Ivan here. Gonna play a Flooded Strand. That is an OG foil Flooded Strand. Talk about drip, Noah.
That card is quite pretty.
It's bringing back some nostalgia for me. That's like when I first started getting like really competitive, was around the time of that coming out. So it looks like upkeep. The 4th Leyline Body's going to play take care of one of these subtleties. We have an extra zone in the middle of the table here of all the removed from game stuff.
I mean, Ivan's dead, right? Just animate my mutable, attack you for 7, upkeep, ring trigger.
Yep, looks like it.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the Merfolk lords there.
Land for turn.
Yep.
There, land for turn, activate Mutavault, activate Mutavault.
Move to combat.
Yep.
This also gives Island Walk as well, so if there were some kind of blocker or whatever.
Or it
Now
is
there's just a
that.
bunch of evasion. I think it's Merfolk with the Pearl Trident.
Oh,
Or
okay.
the Lord Merfolk 2-drop. Lord of
Oh,
Atlantis.
oh no, that was OG.
Okay.
That's what I thought. It was just a different art. Like I wasn't used to that Lord of Atlantis art.
Yeah, that
but,
one's like a promo art, maybe from like a God, I can't
Yes.
keep up anymore of like where exactly every single card came from. But
yeah.
you know, we talked about this before the match. It's game 1 for Merfolk, and it can give decks like this a lot of problems. You know, I was talking to somebody recently about Modern. They were saying they think Merfolk might be like one of the most underrepresented decks for how good it possibly is.
It probably is. Just thinking about it. I mean, looking at that game, looking at the way that you know, Aether Vial, Tashona's Tidebinder, Subtlety deck lines up against these mid-range decks, it just looked absolutely disgusting. So hard for Ivan to just do anything profitable. Even the Rashad and Dock hands like seem ginormous in this matchup as well. I actually quite like World build.
I mean, yeah, and like the deck's always going to look a lot better too when they have turn 1 Aether Vial, right? Like that's the dream in this deck. Like when this deck has turn 1 Aether Vial, it is something else.
Definitely. I mean, it's the wheels, for sure.
Yeah,
Get
that's the
thing
way this
going.
deck's been playing for the last 10 or 15 years. You know, like Merfolk with turn 1 Aether Vial has
It's a
been something that's been
completely different
around
deck.
for a very, very long time. You know, we've seen it come in and out of the meta and like Legacy, Modern, all kinds of stuff. But lately, you know, these couple extra cards, these free counter spells and force negation, you see this Tidebinder, you know, a couple extra little pickups here or there along the time. You know, you print a new Merfolk like what, once a year. Eventually, it's going to get real good.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's Tails End that I just saw getting boarded in for a roll here. Nice little answer to most of the things that Ivan can be playing that are pretty impactful in this matchup.
Till then seems decent. This member's okay. I mean, the Force Subtlety is definitely coming in. Force Negation's probably coming in. Some
It
easy
looked like
ones.
he was putting those in for sure.
Some easy ones to cut in like Stern Scoldings. Probably some creatures that he could shave. Like I'm sure he doesn't need all of them. Revoke Trickster is one that comes to mind for me. On Ivan's side, it's a little bit tougher. He doesn't look to have too many potent cards in this matchup. I mean, it's understandable that he showed up to this tournament without a great plan for Merfolk, seeing as how Merfolk isn't like the most popular deck in the format.
I wouldn't
Um,
play. I would not plan on playing against Merfolk in a
yeah,
modern tournament right now. Not saying it's
yeah,
unplayable or anything. I just wouldn't plan on playing against it.
exactly. So just looking at a sideboard, I don't really see anything honestly. Like nothing looks very good.
Yeah, I think this might just be just a rough matchup period for
Yeah,
Ivan.
it does look that way.
Yeah, not a lot you can do here. Not a lot. You know, you don't want your sideboard to be too narrow, especially in a format this big.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, it looks like his sideboard is pretty flexible, and I mean, the thing, like, one thing I will say about this matchup is Ivan's build has a lot of game anyways, right? These Cosmic Rebirths are really nice. It's a lot of life gain. 2 Supreme Verdicts main deck. Just like a ton of removal spells in general between the Solitudes, Prismatic Endings, Leyline Bindings. Like, his deck is built well to handle creatures in general. I just think that it is the combination of, like, the creatures and the disruption that can make things a little bit tricky.
Yeah, like one really well-timed force negation, right? You know, one really well-timed, you know, there's like a way to force spike in this deck, or, you know, take away like one mana for you going into a turn. Like, take away one of your mana going into turn 4 against Ivan's deck, you can't Ring, you can't Omnath, you can't Supreme Verdict. Like, any one little piece of disruption could go a really long way in this matchup for the Merfolk deck and help get in an extra like 6 to 8 damage, which could be enough to kill your opponent.
Exactly. Yep.
It looks like we have a mulligan here from Ivan. This hand has, I think it's a Ring, an Omnath. It looks like it's going to the bottom. I think I saw a Ley Line as well. The hand, I think that's a Renin 6 in his hand as well. It's a turn 1 Soul Tie Tri-land and turn 1 Aether Vial again from also 2 for 2 so far in the turn 1 8 files. And you can see why Raul kept his hand.
Yeah, definitely. Luckily for Ivan, he has like a plethora of options here, like, you know, between the Ren and the binding. I'm not sure which one I like more. Let me think about it a little bit. Because, like, binding is quite good to just stop the Aether Vial, obviously, right? But when you think about it a little bit more, all of the cards that Roll could possibly put into play from the Aether Vial on one, the Ren kind of interacts profitably against. So I'm not sure if it's better to binding it immediately and get it away, just like, you know, make sure Raw gets no value off of this, or to just ensure that the Ren sticks around for longer value and then follow it up with a Leyline binding. Because, like, I'm pretty sure it's the same thing here, right? Like, if Ren was just in play last turn and then here Ivan like plays Leyline binding, I don't think there's much Raw can do.
He's like, do you want to activate it? Because I haven't activated my Ren yet.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I can see what you're saying. Yeah, that's an interesting thing to see what decision is made from Ivan there. I don't mind it this way. Like, you just don't let them get any value off the Aether Vial. Like, you know you're going to get your Ren and 6 into play next turn. You're going to get your fetch land back immediately, so you're going to get your value. And then, you know, I don't think any of the cards on 2 that they play are going to stop you from having Ren in play the next turn. Like, you won't be able to, like, attack it down. So maybe it's just, like, some safe playing from Ivan from last game because, you know, the Aether Vial did so much.
Yeah, totally.
Great. Mutavault here for a Merfolk player. Looks like it's going to be passed yet again. Very reactive hand, an instant speed hand from our Merfolk player here this game. Also, Ivan picked up a Prismatic Ending. I think it would have been a lot easier if he picked up Prismatic Ending on what choices on what to play would have been.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like he just drew one, actually, now that you say that.
Yep. Misty Rainforest going to get fetched away here. Wonder if we're going to see the One Ring here this turn. Daring the Merfolk player to have a way to interact.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what else you do. Like, he doesn't have any other options, right? It's like all the other cards are kind of reactive cards, or like a second Ren, so
it's a second Ren, a Cosmic Rebirth, and I don't remember seeing the 4th card. Yeah. So it looks like he's going to just play the slow, though. He's going to go ahead and just get her Surveil Land, get a little bit of action, or a little bit of choice here. He's going to put a Flood Strand into the graveyard. It's going to go directly into his hand. All right, well, never mind. It looks like a Tidebinder is going to go ahead and take care of that.
Good here. Like, wow, Tidebinder is like impressive, honestly.
Yeah. Looks like Force Negation is going to go ahead and take care of this Prismatic Ending as well. So both these players having a lot of counterplay against each other here. Another Force of Negation picked up by the Merfolk player. He could take care of this Ren and 6 this turn if he wants to. Let's see how much he wants to commit. Looks like he's got, I think it's like Savin or whatever, like the Merfolk god in his hand, along with some of the 2-drops. What's that?
Civilian?
Civilian, yeah. I can never pronounce that one correctly. Does look like he's just going to go ahead and go after Ivan here.
Yeah, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, honestly.
If we can get Anu to bring it up on screen, because it has a bunch of abilities as well. If he can find it. He might not be able to find it because he might know how to spell it as well.
Civilian. Yeah, I'm going to stop trying.
Well, the ring was put into play for a moment there, but it looks like Ivan's thinking better, maybe having a different play in mind. Alright, so it does look like the ring is going to get played here. And it's going to meet another Force of Negation pitching Subtlety for the 2nd time in a row here.
And I'm pretty sure Roll's last card in hand is another Force of Negation, honestly.
Gee, I thought it was the 2-drop Merfolk. One of those. I'm not 100% on that. You might be right. So Cavern of Souls.
I think you might be right. The way he's tapping mana.
It does look like this. I was going to say, well, if it's the other one, I think that other one's is a Lord effect, so maybe I'm wrong. So attack with 3 Merfolk here, so he's going to draw a card. 4 damage, he's going to be able to flash this in. Yep, there we go.
X catcher. Wow, that's
Yep.
369.
Yeah. So even if Ivan finds a sweeper here, he's still going to contend with the Mutavault over the next 2 turns. Ivan's in a rough spot.
I think this matchup might just be horrible. Like,
Yeah,
it's looking absolutely horrible.
Yeah, it might just be really, really bad. It's going to be a Teferi. What is this?
He's Rebirth, right?
Yeah, Cosmic Rebirth. On was that the other Ren and 6? Okay.
Yeah. I think he's
So
still
he
dead
gained
though.
3 life off this as well. Well, he'll be able to use this Ren and 6, right?
Yeah, just shoot down the X catcher, but then it's just like.
Still lethal, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Results.
Because with the Rebirth, he goes up to 7, and then 3, 4, 5, 7 still.
Oh,
No?
sorry. Yes, sorry. Yeah, that's fine. Yes, absolutely.
Let's see what happens. It's going to go ahead and shoot down this. Yeah, Ward 1, K1. Okay.
Oh, actually, I meant.
And then he's going to quit.
This gains me 3 life.
Okay.
Okay, so he's at 4 now.
And I'm
I
still
think he was at 1. Okay.
Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah, I think we didn't take the extra 3 from the pump of the Lord last turn, but it does look like Merfolk is going to be victorious here. And like you said, that matchup did not look particularly close. It looks like it's to be pretty rough for Ivan's side of the board.
Yeah. Well played there from all. Clean looking build, clean, like just insanely clean looking matchup. I don't think there was too much Ivan could have done anywhere. I just don't think his deck was really up for the task.
Absolutely, and that one was really quick, but I think we have some backup magic here as well for this round. So let's go ahead and try to send it on back down to the feature match area and get a second round in after that blistering fast win by our Merfolk deck. And no, I might have to go into my magic collection, start off my Merfolk cards. I need to go find my Aether Vials.
Might as well.
I'll keep this up.
Look, I'm not above playing Merfolk. I've played it in a major tournament before. I've always kind of secretly liked that deck, but you know, it's a blue tempo-ish deck that you don't need much to get me to play one of those.
Fetch and shot.
I know what you mean.
17 to 20.
All right, let's look at Benjamin on the left side here playing 4 CopyCat against Nick playing Is It Murktide. Looks like I think we're going to be getting the whole match here as well. Maybe get a confirmation from Honorok here, but it does look like this is going to be game 1. Yep, we're going to get the whole match here for y'all. Since the other one got done so quick, a lot of bonus magic here this round.
I'm gonna crack this on your end step. Going to 19 to 17.
No, we get it again. We get a turn 1 Ragavan. Let's see if this one will actually hit. I'm gonna try to keep track of how many Ragavans actually get to hit their opponents in the matches today. Benjamin's gonna go ahead and fetch up at the end of turn for Nick here. He's gonna go ahead and get one of those triomes.
This one's likely to hit. I mean, I guess if you get Rend down or like if Light Halfling come in front of it to block. I'm taking just like a quick look at Benjamin's list, and I really like it. It's like basically just your classic 4-color Omnath deck with 3 Saheeli Rise and 3 Felidar Guardians.
Yeah, I mean, oh no, Noah, the dreaded turn 2 Ren 6 to take care of that pesky monkey.
Yeah. Yeah, Ragavan, not really seeing too much.
He's been outclassed. He's been outclassed a lot lately. Well, there we go. This will happen, but this one's gonna hit the Ren and 6 though. So dash monkey. And doesn't look like there's anything in Benjamin's hand to help protect that Ren 6, so that monkey is going to get through, but no trigger here, no treasure build up because that's only from combat damage to a player. But it did buy a lot of time for Benjamin here.
Play a flooded strand.
Take a look at his hand here. It's 2 Omnaths, Felidar Guardian, a 1 ring. But importantly, no 4th land. Does have a Leyline in his hand though. Leyline Binding to be able to take care of another threat from Nick here. Let's see if Nick has one of those threats back over to him for turn 3. See a handful of spells, so a lot going on here for Nick. There we go, we got another Ragavan. This one's getting hard cast. And a second mana put up. This, when your player plays the Ragavan here, doesn't dash it and leaves up 2 mana, does that send off a little bit of warning bells to you, Noah?
Yeah, it does. I mean, the thing is, it might just be fine if you're Nick either way, right? Like, yeah, I want to get some value off my Ragavan, but also, like, you've kind of shown me that you don't have a Ren in your hand.
Press this.
It's like, I don't want to just
16 to
dash it every
17.
single turn. I'll probably end up getting a little bit more value if I, you know, spend this turn trying to stick it, and then it's just in play for the rest of the game. So I like the play from Nick, even if he doesn't have a counterspell here. You know, it kind of screams like I have counterspell, but also I think it just kind of screams like you don't have Ren, and I want more value off of my Ragavan than spending 2 mana on it every single turn.
Tap step.
I believe that the planes just got added to play, so Ragavan, Triome, Temple Garden, planes for Benjamin on the side. He's going to go ahead and draw a card. Let's see, does he hit that 4th mana source that he needed desperately?
He
It
drew
doesn't look
another
like it.
4-drop.
Yeah, he drew another One Ring. Fortunately for him, I think that means he's got no
Hi,
plays
how
this
you doing?
turn.
I feel really crappy doing this. We went to he cracked a bobble on his turn. He passed the turn. I said untap, upkeep, draw. I didn't give a ton of time, but there was a little bit of time. I wanted to let you roll. After I drew, they then said bobble trigger to draw the card.
Looks like we
I
have a
think
judge
this
call.
is, yeah, I think this is Nick wishing to use Fire Ice, and not,
Yeah, and I said yeah.
like, I think the communication was just a little bit wonky,
In that case,
and we're trying to decide right now which portion of Benjamin's turn we're actually inside of, so.
Yeah, we're just getting the timing down here. It seems like the players are going to sort that out. We're going to come back to the booth just for a second while that judge call gets sorted out.
I'm sure it'll
Yeah,
get fixed
in
up
this
nice
kind of
and easy.
matchup, have you played either side of this matchup before? The 4-color deck versus, oh, it looks like we're going to get back in. It looks like he was not allowed to do so, but there was no 4th thing from Benjamin anyway.
Yeah, it looks like he got
missed an early
incredibly lucky, actually. Like, not using it on the one turn when Benjamin doesn't have a 4th land, and then now being able to use it next turn.
If I'm Benjamin and I don't have a 4th land there, I kind of want him to use Fire Ice there, right? Like, you don't want to get Fire Ice this turn coming up. Like, if you draw
Exactly.
your 4th land, yeah.
Exactly.
I almost feel like, yeah, man, give it to me. Give me the Fire Ice. All right, Expressive Iteration. Looks like we got 3 things to choose from: Spell Pierce, Bobble, and Counterspell. Counterspell going to go to the hand. Bobble going to go exiled. Spell Pierce going to go to the bottom of the deck. Is there a 4th mana source for Nick here? Doesn't look like it, but he gets to see what the top of the deck is for Benjamin.
I think
Maybe
Nick has an
slow
island in
on
hand, actually.
He does? Okay, I was going to say, we're just slow rolling a little bit here. Okay. All right, so he's going to make sure the upkeep happens here to pass that upkeep draw.
Or wait, maybe was he missing a bobble trigger before? I'm almost certain I saw an island in his hand, so I'm not sure why he didn't deploy.
Yeah. Well, it looks like no 4th land again for Benjamin and no play yet again for him. So back over to Nick. Nick knows that there's no 4th land, but you've got to believe he knows that the cards that left over Benjamin's hand are being really, really powerful.
Yeah.
Expressive Iteration, hopefully finding that 4th mana source for Nick here. I think he missed on it. I think it's 3 spells yet again. I think it's Lightning Bolt's going to go to hand, Ragavan's going to go to exile, and then I couldn't tell exactly what that card was, but that's going to go to the bottom of the deck. Look at that. Ragavan's going to
Ragavan resolves.
Oh, there is an island. Okay.
Misstep last turn. I'm not sure what happened as far as him not playing it or not. But
Delighted Halfling.
So Benjamin found something to do here. Looks like a Blighted Halfling. That's kind of like a 4th mana source, Noah, but you gotta believe it's not gonna be long for this world if Nick has any way to take care of it.
And it can be countered. If I'm not 100% sure, I'll absolutely call forward.
Yeah.
I will pass to you.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to make sure the Oracle text is correct on this card because I don't think that card's in English
shit, that makes sense.
for Nick.
Just too drippy over here.
Yeah, it's
Magic
everyone,
players
man.
these days.
Drip. The MXP San Francisco Drip Tournament.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean it's expensive enough to live in California. They're like, might as well just be drippy.
You got it.
I was wondering where you were going to go with that, and I was not disappointed. Preordained looks like he's going to find another counter spell at the top of the deck for Nick here. Didn't see a glimpse of the second card. Looks like they put both of them back on top. Draw for that as well. Was that a 1 ring of his own that just got added to his hand? Hard to tell from this angle. Yeah, it's got a lightning bolt that light a halfling.
I will float a colorless.
That is summoning sick, right?
Move to combat.
Go to combat.
Looks like it got bolted. Oh, he was trying to tap it and then realized.
Yeah, he said he flowed a mana. That was, yeah, whatever. It's not gonna matter. Okay.
Yeah.
So it looks like Solitude's gonna go ahead and take care of this Ragavan. Well, at least it's gonna try to take care of this Ragavan. Let's see what we're gonna pitch for Benjamin here. It looks like he's gonna pitch an Omnath.
Evoking is a cast, right? Goes on
Yes.
stack.
Yeah. So Nick making sure this is something that he can counterspell. So there's the counterspell.
That is countered. Oh, yeah, that was exiled.
Gonna resolve here.
And no blocks, go to damage. 14 to 17.
So Ragavan finally hitting Noah. We've seen a bunch of them today. This one's finally gonna get through after a big fight.
Monkey time.
Yep. Treasure gonna go onto Nick's side of the board. You have to do the other part of this trigger. You can't half resolve this.
Let me read this real quick.
Yeah, hopefully we.
All right, looks like we're gonna miss the other half of this. Yeah, I think Benjamin's making sure here. You can't
Judge?
half resolve a trigger.
Judge!
Yeah. So, looks like we're gonna have another judge call here. They're gonna come back to the booth. They're just gonna figure that out. That's something that, so you're allowed to miss triggers, but you're not allowed to miss like half of a trigger.
Yeah.
So like, since this is hit and the treasure was made, the top card is gonna get exiled here. As far as I know, I don't know if the ruling has changed, but as far as I know, this
There you are.
All right. Now that's the turn.
yeah.
Untapped.
Halfling got exiled and cast for Nick here. A nice little value off of the Ragavan. Another 4-drop added to Bintan, I think, here. I might be wrong. Looks like he's casting something. Oh, he got a
Ren.
6, yeah.
That's
This can
quite
take
good.
care of the...
I'll play Ren.
It probably needs to grab a
Right.
land, no?
Yeah, I know, right? Like, do you kill Ragavan or do you draw a land? That's a hard spot. Looks like he's gonna kill the Ragavan.
Actually, I guess you kill Ragavan and then it should be alive next turn, and then you can pick up the land, so it's fine.
Yeah, as long as there's no bolt or unholy heat from the Izzet player, yeah. I mean, if they just have a purely reactionary thing and reactionary hand, then yeah, it should stay around.
Good combat.
I mean, I think it's just mono blue cards other than a Underworld Breach for Nick here, but Underworld Breach
Go to damage.
can get the, I think there's a Lightning Bolt in the graveyard if he wants to go that far.
Second main.
Did they give a time extension for that? Okay, cool. Just double check. Go.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's kind of tough.
So here we go, a huge Murktide from Nick.
Yeah.
Let's see how big this one's gonna be.
Murktide plus hold up counterspell also just like quite a good turn here.
Yeah,
for Nick.
that's really good. Yeah, especially with your opponent just not doing much over the last few turns. Like they're gonna get their 4th mana here though, but like you said, you're gonna be holding up counterspell, so like you know the 4th mana is coming, right? So
Good. 3 counters.
Cool. Can I see your graveyard?
Yes. Go ahead.
looks like I think 3 counters. I think is what he said was on the Murktide.
Murktide Regent resolve.
Got a 6 flyer and a Delighted Halfling in play for Nick. Maybe back over to Benjamin, who's finally gonna have 4 mana for one of his turns here.
Untap step. Draw for turn. I'm going to plus from 1 to 2. Putting Flooded Strand back in my hand. I'll play Flooded Strand. Crack it. Going to 13. 13 to 17. Is that what you have?
Yes.
Cool.
4th one gonna be absolutely huge here.
Get an island.
Gonna unlock all of Benjamin, right? This has been uncastable here for these last few turns.
Yeah, exactly. Like we've been waiting for this this whole time.
Your cut if you like.
One really cool part about Benjamin's build having
I'm
like
going to cast the
you know
creature,
the sort of
Felidar
copycat
Guardian.
win con.
That makes a
Yeah, it's
copy
being able to
of,
just fill out our guardian and blink.
No, it flickers a target permanent I control.
Leyline binding, stuff like that. Here in specific, like being able to leyline binding, blink,
Counterspell.
or sorry, fill out our guardian, blink, leyline binding, get rid of Murktide, and just like give your opponent a Ragavan that can't even attack through fill out our guardian would have been like ginormous.
Yeah, that would have been really, really good. But, you know, we've seen Nick kind of filling his hand up here these last couple turns. He's got that counter spell at the ready. So it looks like he's going to get in a big chunk of an attack here. Looks like the hand is Scalding Tarn, the One Ring, counter spell, and Underworld Breach for Nick here.
Yeah, certainly a decent hand. Yeah, the One Ring, a card we don't really see too often in these Izzet Murktide builds.
No blocks. I'll take 7. Going to.
No, 100%.
6.
Like, yeah, I was kind of surprised to see Nick draw. It's still just a very powerful card. It looks like 7's going to come across. Benjamin here. Go ahead and ignore Ren and 6 kind of like that play from Nick here. Let's try to get this game over as quickly as possible. You've got a counterspell you're sitting on. You've got lethal damage in play, set up, ready to go.
Draw for turn.
Looks like Nick's just going to go ahead and pass them back over.
I would have liked to see Nick play
Plus
the One Ring on this
76.
turn just to get a little bit of card advantage. You don't really need the protection in this matchup as much, so I would have really liked to see
Blue,
Nick
white, green, red.
try to get some stuff
Cast
going.
Omnath.
On the sack. Counterspell.
Looks like we're going to have another counterspell here. That should
go to
be
the next one.
enough
Well
for
done.
Nick to get the game. Yep.
Thank you.
Sorry about the mistake.
Yep, and so Nick's going to move up to 1-0 here in this match as these players were sideboarding for game 2. Welcome back to the booth. I'm Tana Grace, joined by Noah Walker. We are here covering Laughing Dragons, MXP, San Francisco, Modern 20K. And don't forget that this broadcast is brought to you by Heavy Play. Make sure you check them out for all your gaming accessory needs. I know Anu is a big fan of it, been using all of it. You can see some of it being used right now on the screen. So check them out, Heavy Play.
4 blockers. Celestial Purge, Ragavan.
Okay, what does it do?
That's a sweet one. Oh, Celestial Purge
Red or
on a
black
Benjamin
permanent.
here. And take care of the Ragavan.
And would you like to get Oracle text?
No, that's fine.
I'm 100% certain.
Okay, what am I gonna
Gonna take care of that Ragavan.
Second main.
No, these turn 1 Ragavans just never hit.
Yeah, they're not destined for this world. It's a cruel, cruel world for a small monkey.
It really, really is, man. He just wants to play. Like he just wants to hang out.
Yeah. It's almost like the card is so powerful that everyone just has to build their deck with considerations to having some sort of answer on their turn 2. Otherwise, the game ends. So
Yeah, it looks like we got a preordained bottom draw here. Does Nick have a second mana source?
I hope so.
Taking a little bit of time here. I don't know what's going on. Looks like we have a judge call maybe away from the table.
Oh.
I think we're having a little bit of a break for one of the players here, so looks like we'll probably
mid-game
come.
P.
Yeah, it looks like exactly. Hey, we've all been there. You know what I mean? What's the quote from Jeff Goldman? You gotta go. You gotta go.
You do gotta go when you gotta be going. So
Yeah.
I respect it.
Yeah, so definitely going to take time yet again. Make sure you check out that sponsor, Heavy Play, for the broadcast here today. They've been sponsoring a lot of our broadcasts here lately. I'm a big fan of a lot of their stuff. Make sure you check them out. Tons of stuff like sleeves. The deck boxes are awesome. I was talking about one of them earlier that can fit, I think it was like 130 double sleeved cards. And no, I don't know if you play a lot of like 100 card formats. I play a decent amount of them, and having the extra space in your deck box is huge. I'm not a big double sleever, but just having the extra space for like tokens, dice, like some pieces of paper maybe so you can write down life totals and stuff like that. I'm a big fan of being able to fit everything into one box so I don't have to like have a bunch of extra stuff.
Yeah, no, it definitely sounds awesome.
I was going to say, I think Anurag was telling. We'll say, Anurag's trying to tell me something, but I can't understand him. Give me 1 second here. All right, it looks like we actually have an ad from Heavy Play that we're going to be cutting to. We'll be right back with the rest of this match after this ad.
This is the Heavy Play equipment.
Out. I definitely want to get some of that magnetic stuff. No, I'm notorious for leaving stuff on the table and kind of like having stuff spread out everywhere. I think this will help keep me less cluttered.
These look really super sick. I think if I was still in my grinder days, I would definitely be checking out Heavy Play, and their products all look super awesome.
It looks like we're going to go right back to where we were. Nick hasn't played his. We're in turn 2. He's resolved preordained, so he can play make a land drop. So there we go. Spot bluff. Looks like we're going to have another monkey here for Nick. So another Ragavan. So another thing for Benjamin to have to deal with right away.
Yeah, I mean, one good part of your Nick is that Benjamin used uh, Celestial Purge to answer the first Ragavan, so that means that he almost certainly doesn't have access to something like Ren, right? Yeah. You could have just picked one up or something, but it seems super unlikely for there to be a Ren in here.
Well, it looks like it's just going to be a ley line. That was a Sacred Foundry that's played for turns. I think it's Sacred Foundry are going to try own Forest in play here, and then it's going to be followed up by a Delighted Halfling from Benjamin. Very good turn for Benjamin there. He enters the monkey, develops his board a little bit with Delighted Halfling. So this way, if he doesn't have that 4th land like he had the last couple games, he'll still be able to play some of the super impactful 4 drops. It looks like it's going to be Steam Vents. Pass back from Nick. Still holding up that 2 mana that we've seen a lot. Conspicuously.
Yeah, the Halfling is going to put in a lot of work here, though.
Yeah, we'll see. Looks like we're going to have... I think this is going to be a Teferi here for Benjamin.
Perfect card to cast
I'll
off
tap
the
this
Halfling.
for red.
Right.
Cast the One Ring.
Yep, you got it.
Yep, One Ring.
I will activate
Going to come in, it's going to hit play. We're going to draw a card off of it. Like you said, the Delighted Halfling putting in a lot of work here now.
Are we using this?
No, sorry.
It's all good.
Back over to Nick here, and if you're at Murktide, is there really any way you can like deal with the ring once it starts getting going?
No, not at all. I mean, like, you could hope that it deals him a bunch of damage, and like try to get some sort of clock, but you know, just looking at Nick's list, sometimes you see like you were saying earlier, like Upraise and Borrow or something in these decks. This list I don't see anything like that. Exiles, no, most of the artifact destruction that he has just kills, like Chattering Spree,
Activate the ring, going from 1 to 2
Cast into Fire?
counters.
Exiles? Oh, yeah, he has 1 cast into Fire. So
that is a flavor win, by the way. The Cast into Fire can kill the one.
Yeah.
I would be pretty upset if the card Cast into Fire could not kill the One Ring.
Yeah. That is definitely a dub, flavor dub there.
I will plus Teferi. And I will...
Alright, and Ben's just kind of operating on all cylinders here. He's got a ring going, he's got the Teferi in play. The shields are up for him here, and there's nothing on Nick's side of the board yet to even threaten him. So if I'm Benjamin, I'm feeling pretty good about this game so far.
Yeah, totally. I mean, with the setup he has right here, if in his next 4 cards there's a Saheeli Rai, he wins the game.
Yeah, just on the spot. And like that's something we don't see out of the 4-color deck very often, so that he can just end the game immediately, right?
Yes.
And so Nick looking at a land and a lightning bolt here, a couple more lightning bolts in his hand, it looks like.
I don't want these.
Yep, looks like it. He agrees with you. Putting those away. It looks like we're going to have a Mrs. Wobble come into play here. Take a peek at the top card from Benjamin here.
It's not too bad. It's reasonable here. If you're Nick, you can't really just sit here and try to play like a reactive game plan against your opponent's deck that kind of has more longevity in the matchup. So it's really tough to try to navigate these turns with like, you know, removal spell heavy hands. Oh wait, what is this pass? He might have forgot about the Teferi passive, or possibly the Unholy Heat isn't active yet.
Yeah, let's say I know that he has an artifact in his yard, and then other than that, I can't tell. I think there's a
artifact. There's definitely a Ragavan as well that died on. Or no, there's not. There's not actually. Both of them got exiled. So maybe it's just not active.
There's a land and there's a blue card. I'm pretty sure.
Draw for turn.
So it's probably 3 and not 4.
Activate the ring, going from 2 to 3, drawing 3 cards.
Good.
Benjamin just keeping his hand chock full here every turn, drawing 3 extra cards here off the ring.
Play Flooded Strand.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like he drew just like grip
I
of
will-
lands, but
Plus Teferi, going from 5 to 6.
Teferi going up to 6 here. Starting to get out of range of almost everything here at this point. This Unholy Heat's going to have to do some heavy lifting
I will.
if Nick can get it to do that.
I mean, this game is just looking done already, honestly. Like, I don't think there's anything Nick can really do to
tap
get back into a
for-
game like this unless Ben
Red.
dies to One
Cast
Ring.
One Ring.
I don't know.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think he, with the Teferi in play, and he just played a second copy of the One Ring, there's so many ways for that to be mitigated.
Well, and you could
Like,
just Felidar Blanket. It's like,
yeah,
there's
there's so
just
many
endless-
different ways, right? I didn't even think about that. You have Felidar in this deck too. That's just another cool way to make the ring. Another Force of Negation here picked up by Nick. That's not good when there's a Teferi in play. You can see his hand has a bunch of burn spells in it. Underworld Breach. It has a Murktide. But there's that stress of the Murktide and the Unholy Heat. And then Murktide versus an active Teferi is also pretty scary and bad because this is going to just get bounced right back to his hand.
4, so 1,
It looks like it's going to be a
5, 6,
4/4
7.
Murktide.
You got it.
too bad. I mean, pretty decent here.
And then I will pass to you.
On your instep, I'm going to crack this, go to 11.
Maybe go down to 11 here, cracking this Flooded Strand during Nick's instep. Search up another land here.
Seems to be like,
It's a basic at the time.
yeah, he's just
I'm gonna
looking for
activate the ring also
the
on your
Sahili
instep.
still, right? Like,
Sounds good.
Yeah, just thinning the deck quite a bit, just trying to find the way to end the game immediately. The biggest thing for him here is, I think, it's time. You know, he wants to make sure he gets this game done with in a decent amount of time. So they have time for the third game.
I lose 1, going to 10.
Yeah, fetch down to 11, ring down to
Drop
10.
a turn.
Yep.
Activate the ring. Draw 2 cards.
another draw two.
Still hasn't found us a Healy.
Play for.
Maybe he did.
Yeah, I was gonna say, with the way he's having his mana this quickly, maybe he did, yeah.
Tap for white and cast Omnath.
No Sahili. I finally saw him fan through his entire hand.
Yeah.
That's a Rin and 6. That is a Planeswalker, but it's not Sahili, right?
Play a Wooded Foothills, gain 4 life, going to 14.
Oh wait, you could still even have it here.
Draw a card for that.
No, because the Omnath trigger.
Was Teferi at 7 or at 6? I feel like it was at 6, but I don't think it's going to matter
I
here,
will
but
crack this.
It probably had to be at 6 just because there's only one die on it, unless it's a D7. It looks like a D6, but yeah.
Yeah, went down to 4 here. I think that should be at 3 loyalty.
Get a Temple Garden. I'm going to decide if it's coming in tapped or not. I'll have it come in tapped. Trigger, make 4 mana.
Yep.
There's an extra
I'm
mana.
going to use the 4 mana to cast Felidar Guardian.
Right.
And I'm going to.
You can do a lot of spice things with
Flicker.
Felidar, right? You can bounce a land, trigger Omnath again. You could bounce Omnath to draw another card. You could bounce the ring to reset it. You could bounce, yeah, it's just everything.
Yeah, it's just there's so many good.
This
There's no
forest.
bad target almost. Yeah.
Trigger does 4 damage to you.
Yeah, 16.
Sorry, I hit yours. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, I've been doing yours.
Tap for green and red. Cast Ren and 6.
Yep.
I will
Another game just with an
+1
embarrassment of
Ren
riches. Like, Benjamin just has so much going on here.
Yeah, this looks like a game of Commander where only one player is playing.
Yeah.
I'm going to discard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more. I'm going to ditch.
Yeah, discarding for hand size here. Yeah, I think this game's pretty wrapped up. I'm trying to think of what Nick can do to get out of this. I think there's just too much going on. He has no cards in his graveyard, so he can't use Unholy Heat to take down these Planeswalkers or this Omnath.
You got it.
Lightning Bolt's not going to get it done on any of these things that are in play. You see the look on Nick's face. It's kind of like, oh, this looks bad.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to go ahead and scoop it up and go to game 3.
Yeah, just kind of asking for too much there. There's just nothing you can really do there if you're Nick.
Yeah, we saw this 4-color deck twice this round, right? Like, so, the first part of the round was all against Merfolk and kind of just get beat up. And then this is a game where you see it really flex its muscle. As the game goes on, all of the spells that it casts are so powerful. And they just keep cascading into play of more and more things and more value. And it's really hard to come back from.
Totally.
Touching and shocking. Then I would play a Darcy.
Gonna have a turn 1 fetch for a Steam Vents here for
Wait,
Nick.
what?
I
Darcy.
think going down to 17 most likely.
Oh,
See if we have another turn 1 Ragavan, and if Benjamin's up to the task of dealing
I like
with this
Darcy.
one.
I haven't heard that.
Looks like just
Oh,
a
really?
DRC here this time. Dragon Rage Chandler put into play.
Important turn one. I mean, playing these blue-red tempo decks against like the mid-range decks, it's very similar to what I was talking about before, like about like the aggro decks versus the mid-range decks. As far as like the first couple turns of the game, I feel like really define
Play a
what's
breeding
going to
pool
happen.
tap.
Yeah, 100%. There's a breeding pool for Benjamin. I see a Saheeli Rai in his hand now. He finally found one, Noah. He's just a little late to the party.
She's
Need
not
that.
looking so hot here.
Yeah. It's not like you really needed it in game 2 anyway.
Yeah.
I
No
think I see
lands?
this
Oh,
was a
no.
1-lander for Nick. Does have a Force of Negation here. And he has some ways to, if he plays some spells, then he might be able to trigger this DRC, maybe find with the Surveil a land on top. But I don't think I saw a Preordain in his hand. That's going to be rough for Nick here.
You did not.
Did he have a Lightning Bolt? I wonder if you're supposed to
Yeah,
upkeep
1917.
Lightning Bolt Benjamin to trigger your DRC before you draw, or is that might just be too greedy?
I would play.
Also, Benjamin had something like Ren and 6 here. This game would be in a really rough spot right away. Celestial Purge in his hand, though. Good draw for turn. I think that was a Ragavan off the top, so not a land here again for Nick.
Celestial Purge.
Looks like that Celestial Purge is going to come out to play, take care of the Dragon Rage Chandler, and then that top deck Ragavan is going to get played for Nick here. Pass back over to Ben. Omnath off the top for Benjamin here. Lots of options in his hand. I think it's a Flusterstorm, along with a bunch of other really powerful spells.
Windswept Heath.
And once a Heath's played for turn.
And I will pass to you.
These don't look like they answer Ragavan very well.
I see a Leyline Binding. I think it's
Yeah,
one
but
of
that's
the
only
cards in his
one.
hand.
Yeah.
Spell Pierce picked up for Nick here. A card that he can actually cast. That's nice.
Quite good. Quite good.
All right, so this one's up Heath is going to go and find a Triome, I have to believe. So we're going to have a Leyline Binding get cast here. And Nick might be able to find a second mana source here if he can get this Ragavan to connect against Benjamin.
With a Sacred Foundry untapped.
Yep.
And I'm going to tap the Plains and Sacred Foundry. To cast a Leyline Binding.
So Leyline Binding is going to get met with that spell. Here.
Spears.
This is a Mystical Dispute back from Benjamin. It looks like it's the Flusterstorm that we were talking about earlier. So Flusterstorm's going to go ahead and take care of
Leyline
that.
Binding resolves.
Leyline Binding is then going to then resolve, take care of the Ragavan. And we're back to square one for Nick here. And really needing some lands off the top of his deck.
Not so hot. Not so hot.
Is there a fourth mana for Benjamin here to kind of put the nail in the coffin? It looks like there is.
There's the combo as well. I'm pretty sure he has both
Light and halfling?
ends of the combo.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like Delighted Halfling is going to get added to the board here. 3 mana is going to make Saheeli Rai, and that's going to start setting up for this combo as soon as next turn. So Healy's going to go up to 4. Putting it out of Lightning Bolt range is very important.
Over here. 16 all, is that what you have?
Yes.
You mind changing that?
Delighted Halfling Saheeli deck, it just seems really cool. I'm not sure if it's like better or worse than, you know, like your typical build, but all I know is that it looks really, really interesting.
I'm not hating it. I'm kind of liking it. The Feldar Guardians have been impressive when they've come out. They've, you know, blinking almost any of the permanents has been really good.
Totally.
Yeah, we saw Yorion in these decks back in the day, right? You know, so like maybe do something similar. All right. Well, Olam was not found, but Preordain was. If no mana source is found here though for Nick, and no way to interact with Healy Rai, the game is going to end on the spot.
Yes, sad to watch, honestly.
Yeah, it looks like 2 to the bottom, and I think a Steam Vents off the top for Nick
Which
here.
is good. Good. Hopefully he pays 2 life, even if he doesn't have the room spell. Okay, he does.
14 to 16. One more.
I went back up.
Yeah, it's not.
So the real question here is going to be what Nick's, I should say, like, comfortability is with the combo, if he understands the Samurai combo, because it's kind of an older combo. It's a little bit tough to know exactly like what your window of interaction is if you haven't played against the combo very often. So
I think.
Yeah, Nick taking a look to see what he can do here. These counter spells don't do anything. All 3 of the counter spells in his hand don't interact here.
Yeah, what it does is if this resolves when it enters the battlefield, I flicker a permanent I control. It would be me flickering Saheeli. I then -2 Saheeli, making a copy of this, which flickers this. I then -2 Saheeli, which makes another, and so on and so forth.
Does it?
They have haste.
They have haste.
They have haste.
Okay. Yeah, you got it.
Thank you for the game.
Yeah,
no,
Good
good.
job, man.
like,
Sorry for the mana.
I'm sad.
No, it happened.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's something that, you know, some players, you know, I'm sure one of his friends will tell him, you know, later, explain it, you know, situation a little bit to him or whatever.
And at the end of the day, it's like if you're playing Magic in the year 2024, like, and you actually know what the combo does and how to popularly interact with it, you're probably just a dinosaur. So
Did you just call me a dinosaur? Is that what I just heard?
yeah, I mean, I
Okay.
just called me a dinosaur. I played with
Don't
that
forget,
deck.
I am a decade older than you, Noah.
Yeah,
Show
but I
some
played with that deck back in Standard. Like, come on,
Yeah.
man. Like,
So did I. Show some respect to your elders, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get so it was an interesting round for the 4-color decks. One of them got absolutely destroyed on camera, and another one looked pretty damn good. You know, with the Blink and the Saheeli Rai version. Pretty cool to see some innovation happening in Modern and some new decks and trying out some new things and stuff. So really excited to see that. But I think that's going to do it for round 3 here. We're going to take a very small break, play some Wordle, and then we'll go into round 4.